Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray is part of Court and Parts,
podcast network featuring pop culture, TV, movie, and geek podcasts. Check out some of our other shows: Geek Gravy, We Got 5, TV Ate My Brain, and Get Real Movies at courtandarts.com.
Coming to you undead from Elm Street in fictional Haddonfield with a beautiful view of Crystal Lake. The podcast where every day is Friday the 13th and every night is Halloween. You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray, part of the Core Temp Arts Podcast Network. Here are your hosts, Bloodbath, Bub, and Brett667, the neighbor of the beast.
Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray is the official horror movie podcast of the Core Temp Arts Podcast Network, the home of Talking Shondaland, That Pop This Life, We Got 5, Failure to Launch, and TV Ate My Brain. I need to give a big shout out to Carly this week. She doesn't have to, but she has been trying super hard to get the word out about our show. So thank you, Carly. We love you very much, and we appreciate all of your support. If you feel inclined, and we encourage you to feel that way, please hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr. This is Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray number 19. It is the final part of our Halloween countdown. My name is Bloodbath.
And I'm Brett667, the neighbor of the beast.
And I'm Bub.
And you are definitely going to hear a lot of noise on my end in this episode. I'm coming to you from New Jersey tonight at my folks' place. My dad is half deaf and needs to have the volume of the television turned on full blast. And both my parents are up, and they're both conversing. Also, I don't have a pop filter, so I'm going to sound terrible. But I'm so happy to be in New Jersey. Got to see so many friends over the course of the last few days. Last night I went and saw Mephistopheles at the Stanhope House.
How was it?
Oh, it was great. It was a great little Halloween show.
Yeah?
And the day before that, I found myself buying some horror comics. Warning, free plug incoming. If you want horror comics, go see my friend Jeff at Eastside Mags. He's the owner. He's been my friend for over 10 years. I was in his wedding. He's the chubby piece of man meat behind the counter with the mohawk. Tell him Bloodbath sent you. He will not give you a discount in any way, but he will strike up a conversation with you and maybe tell you an embarrassing story about me. So, before we go any further, our friend Chris Rebel of the Let's Chat podcast, also part of the Core Temp Arts Podcast Network, wants you to know that his favorite movie to watch this time of year is Hocus Pocus, and who could blame him? It's a great movie. Beyond that, I got my pumpkin picking done. Just watched Salem's Lot with my parents. The weather is perfectly chilly for the fall. All the money I've spent on flannel has been put to work. So that's good news. And speaking of good news, Bub.
It's that time again. It's Killer News with Bub on Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray.
All right, hey, that's me. Director Bernard Rose sat down this week to talk with the website The Art of the Title about his adaptation of Clive Barker's character, the Candyman. He said he wants to make another sequel, but he does. Right now he doesn't have the rights to the movie, so it's like he can't make it. Did you guys hear about that?
No, I didn't hear about that. I would love to. I would love a Candyman sequel. That'd be great.
He said he wants to make a proper sequel, and he said if he had the rights to it, he would do it tomorrow. So I guess he's trying to obtain the rights to start this, Candyman sequel going. Which I would see in a heartbeat. I loved all three of them.
Oh yeah, I love them all. And
I'm telling you.
Tony Todd, of course, you'd have to try to get him involved in some way.
Well, that's what he wants him involved, and like the original Helen, he wants her back in.
Mm-hmm.
So he wants to go back to like the whole normal crew.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'm telling you, I would see it in a heartbeat.
I think Candyman is on the list for us as far as what we're going to be talking about over the next month.
That's cool.
It was like a toss-up. We're going to do Child's Play next week, but it was like a toss-up for me between that and Candyman. And I think because we did a Clive Barker movie last week, we'll just go with Child's Play for this week. I think that'd be not this week, next week. This week's going to be awesome, but next week will be will be fun as well. And I think all of us are going to be happy to just have to do one film instead of 2 or 3.
Amen.
What else you got?
All right, so I was reading online, and Starbucks has a secret Halloween menu. Did you know that? That's crazy,
did.
Right?
Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah,
I did know that. That's awesome.
I had no clue. The whole month of October, they have a secret Halloween menu. So basically, I think the 2 main things on it are the Frankenfrap and the Frapula. But how cool is that?
That's awesome.
Right? So
That's
basically,
great.
and if you go on, if you put it into the computer, they said some places they don't know about it, but if you kind of tell them what the ingredients are, they'll make it for you.
I love it. I love it. I haven't gotten one yet, but I still got a couple days. And and my mother-in-law's house is right by Starbucks, so
Nice.
it's probably gonna happen.
And then last but not least, Lee LaHave and Oren Mendez, they made a chart. They actually took a Peanuts cartoon, and they made a Stranger Things Charlie Brown.
What?
Yes.
Wait, what?
It's a 5-minute YouTube video, but basically I guess they drew it out. They did the whole thing. It looks just like the original Charlie Brown from the '60s, but it's all centered around Stranger Things. I watched it today. It's amazing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
It's so good.
And actually, that is a perfect segue because we have 3 films, I guess, that we're going to talk about. But before you roll your eyes at how long that's going to take, one of them is the 1966 television special. It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Dear Great Pumpkin, I'm looking forward to your arrival on Halloween night. I hope you will bring me lots of presents.
They're back. All the little Peanuts characters in a happy Halloween special that's filled with delightful, heartwarming adventures from their wonderful cartoon world. It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. And here's Linus to tell you more about it.
On Halloween night, the Great Pumpkin rises out of his pumpkin patch and flies through the air with his bag of toys for all the children.
While Linus waits for the Great Pumpkin, ghosts and goblins, witches and owls make the scene with Charlie Brown and his Peanuts playmates off on a haunting spree that's filled with surprises. It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, in color.
It was directed by Bill Melendez. There's no body count, obviously. There's obviously no naughty count, no budget or gross to speak of. It's just 30-minute television special that I'm sure Brett's upcoming synopsis will cover the whole thing. I don't plan on spending a lot of time on this. I just want to nod my, tip my hat, if you will, to a piece that I still enjoy. I get to share it with my daughter. It's wonderful. I love it and I laugh every time. Brett, give me a synopsis.
I mean, how do you even talk about this short without having just be filled with nostalgia? It's about the classic Peanuts characters going through the greatest season of all, Halloween, between Snoopy pretending he's the Red Baron with Linus and the Great Pumpkin, and the classic phrases that come from their amazing trick-or-treating experiences. It's really just about it's a wholesome story about a bunch of kids enjoying Halloween to the finest abilities that they can. What a great story.
I'm so glad that after watching this for 30 plus years now, I still enjoy it the same as I did when I was a kid. Probably more because Peanuts is a very adult-oriented cartoon. Would you guys agree?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
So here, I guess what we'll do for this, because we've never really done anything like this before. So I'm just gonna run down my favorite parts, and then we'll talk about them for a little bit, and whatever I miss. And if we don't have some of the favorite parts, then I'm sure you guys have your favorite parts, and we'll talk about them all. So I love in the beginning when Lucy starts cutting up the pumpkin that her and Linus get. And as soon as she puts the knife into it and cuts the top off, he starts crying. He's like, I didn't know you were going to kill it. And of course, Linus's letter to the Great Pumpkin is amazing. The part where he's like, let's face it, Santa Claus has more publicity. That part where he says, there are 3 things I've learned never to talk to other people about: religion, politics, and the Great Pumpkin. Just amazing. I think we may have lost Brett.
It looks that way. I think so.
Looks like we lost him. So let's we'll keep rolling here, and then we'll try to get him back, and then I'll do some fancy editing later, and hopefully this all works out.
And he's back.
And he's back.
Yep. I apparently lost connection. Sorry, guys.
Nope, it's okay. All I got, and my dogs are barking. Perfect. All we were talking about was the letter that Linus writes to the Great Pumpkin. How Santa has more publicity, and never talk about religion, politics, and the Great Pumpkin with other people. I thought that was really funny.
You were mentioning that before, which is great. Is that it's kind of more an adult-centric cartoon because they don't push many boundaries, but a lot of the jokes that are in there are very political and very adult. And I think that's what's so enjoyable about it. Is as a kid, you don't really get that, but you're really more excited about is the Great Pumpkin going to really show up? Is this kid going to still keep getting a fucking rock? And you're laughing, but the parents have something to actually enjoy during this whole entire short.
I like the part too where Lucy is explaining to Sally how to trick or treat, and she's like, all you have to do is walk up to the door and say trick or treat, and Sally's like, are you sure that's legal? It's so great.
And then what's up with the one gets a rock, right? It's like a rock.
Charlie Brown. So it's funny
every fucking
that
time
you bring that up, because after the special aired for the first time, the studio, which I think was CBS, and Charles Schultz got tons of mail that was filled with candy, and it was marked just for Charlie Brown.
Oh, I love that.
Because everybody felt so bad for him.
The rock part's my favorite. That's my favorite part.
That's a great part. My favorite part is when they come up to Linus in the pumpkin patch, and he's like, hey, have you come to sing pumpkin carols?
That is great.
And then, of course, I don't know how a pumpkin patch could be more sincere than this one. There's no sign of hypocrisy. Nothing but sincerity as far as the eye can see. What a great line. It's so funny. There's no real reason to even put a number on this as far as a rating, because it's just such a staple, I think, for everybody. Even if you don't like scary movies, I think everybody tunes into this at least once in the month of October, and it's a real nostalgic feeling. I remember coming home from school as a kid and just watching this all the time. My parents had a tape, and it was all Bugs Bunny Halloween cartoons and Garfield Halloween and this one, and it was just great. So it's one of my favorite things to watch. And we're all married with kids. Well, we all have kids. Brett was sort of married, close to married. Didn't quite have to go through the pain of a divorce, but we all have kids, and it's just a great thing to share with your kids. I think we'd all agree.
Absolutely.
So let's go ahead and move on. Unless anybody has anything to add.
The only thing I can say is definitely like you mentioned with the I got a rock thing. I mean, my mom's been making that fucking joke every Halloween. We even went to an aquarium with my daughter today, and she would be like, I got a rock, and just the nostalgia that hits every single time you watch this. It's like it's eating your mother's favorite spaghetti kind of nostalgia, where like you said, you can't put a number on it. It's fantastic. It's ingrained in you.
Yeah, it's part of my DNA at this point.
Yep.
Bub, any parting shots with the Peanuts Halloween special?
I just like rocks, I like rocks.
You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray. Let us know what you think by reaching out to us. We can be found on Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, or Facebook by simply searching Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray. To suggest a film or trailer you think we should discuss, or to comment on this or any other episode, send an email to bloodgutsandbluray@gmail.com. We will always get back to you. Thank you for listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray, and enjoy the rest of the show.
Don't check your dial, folks. You didn't tune into Transylvania's public access station. No, sir. Tonight is Halloween.
Halloween is Satan's night, the night of the devil.
Reporter Frank Stewart has a special Halloween treat in store for viewers tonight. He'll be leading a group of paranormal experts through the infamous Weber House.
Do you know what happened here in the Weber House?
Some people got killed. Their son went haywire.
Frank Stewart and his team of experts will conduct the first ever live on TV seance.
Evil works in mysterious ways, Frank. It's unpredictable.
Are there any spirits in the house?
It's scary.
That's far out.
There's bad aura.
Something strange going on in this house. Animal mutilation, paranormal disturbances, devil worship.
Wait, whoa, hold on.
This is not staged. Hello?
Is this the work of the devil?
Folks, we are going where no camera crew has gone before. Father, perform the exorcism. This is not some Halloween prank. The grisly evidence of the supernatural is real. We'll be right back.
You're watching the WNUF Halloween special.
So next we're going to talk about the WNUF Halloween special, which was released in 2013, although it is advertised as being from 1987. That's not true. I counted 5 dead, no naughty count, $1,500 to make. That was it. Not really
I can see
sure.
that.
Not sure how much it grossed. It's mostly only available on streaming services, and it went straight to a physical copy. They actually made like 300 VHS copies, and and you can buy it on DVD and I think Blu-ray now. I highly suggest you do. There's multiple directors on this, so here they are: Chris LaMartina, James Branscombe, Sean Jones, Scott McCubbin. I hope I didn't pronounce that wrong, but I think I did. Lonnie Martin, Matthew Mentor, and Andy Shope. Brett, do synopsis.
I haven't said anything yet, but okay. So my synopsis, great. I knew this part was coming. So, obviously, this is a classic found footage movie of probably the worst newscast you could expect from that time period, as well as a collection of the worst commercials you could have possibly imagined from that time period. Which delves into a live screening of the infamous Weber House, which was the base for some grisly murders. And local newscaster Frank Stewart leads a bunch of people into the house, which is two renowned mediums, as well as a priest, to uncover if there's truly any type of evil spirits living and dwelling within this home.
Yeah, well done. So basically, if you grew up, if you're around our age, then you probably had some sort of local news or local channel on that your cable provider just kind of threw out there. Like, if you're from the Northeast, it's the channel that you found out whether or not you had to go to school on a snow day. They always air just terrible commercials. They did local weather, and it's basically all it is. And as soon as within the first few minutes of watching it, I was like, I get it. I totally get what they're about to do, and I love that somebody finally did it. And they made it look like they made it look like those cheesy commercials where, you know, the carpet salesman. Like we had one by us. It was in Newton. Was Deals on Wheels, and it was just this old couple screaming at a camera saying how great the deals were for the cars they were trying to sell. It was so bad. And
I was thinking like Crazy Eddie shit too from our area.
Yeah,
like Crazy Eddie's electronics and everything. Like I'm crazy, you know. They nabbed that atmosphere. Like you're absolutely right. Those commercials. I'm like, God, I really feel like a kid again watching this same exact, but actually no, slightly different mattress commercial. Come on, 5 fucking times within the same 20 minutes of this show.
Right, and then they had like one where it was like a Greek festival or whatever, one of the commercials anyway. And I remember so many commercials like that, so many, and like even radio did the same thing. Local radio did the same thing. Like you would be listening to the classic rock station, and all of a sudden you hear, and anybody who's from the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, knows exactly what I'm about to do, which is, whoa, Raceway Park! And and it would be like cheesy dick metal.
Tonight live only, Gravedigger.
Come see Great White! And like, it's just so lame. And the fact that, you know, so and like if you're a parent, because, you know, this is obviously long before the internet and things like that, if you want to watch something again, you had to tape record it, and you had to fast forward through all these fucking lame ass commercials. So I loved it. I totally got it. I love how so what they ended up doing was they actually bought vintage tape stock to get this thing to look like an 80s cable commercial. The whole thing looks like an 80s cable commercial. And
perfect.
It's perfect. And they knew that people were not going to believe the broadcast at all. They knew it, but they did it to sort of conjure up the nostalgia of VHS and local programming. One of the main, I guess maybe the main director, I could be saying this wrong, but I think this is like the brainchild of Chris LaMartina, and he called that whole thing localism. And I can say I've never heard that word before, but I'm just gonna trust that it applies to this film because that's the perfect thing that I would call it. They even went as far as to make copies of copies of copies to degrade the film before they submitted the final product.
That's just awesome.
It's a lot of attention to detail. Really incredible how far they went with this, and of course, like as I mentioned before, it was only a $1,500 budget, so it's awesome. The production team even took it a step further. They planted copies of the film throughout like public areas of Maryland and Pennsylvania in an effort to create like a whisper campaign to get people talking about this. Like, oh my God, I was at this vintage VHS, you know, trade store, which those exist all over the place, oddly enough, and I picked up this 1987 Halloween special, and it's fucking insane. And for my personal opinion, the moment this is the second for the show. I watched it a second time. I had already seen it a couple months before, and it became an instant cult classic for me. It instant, like this will be a staple. I will watch this every Halloween now. I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
Did you say it's out on Blu-ray? Did you say there's a Blu-ray copy of this?
I think there. So it's on. I think all three of us have Shudder at this point. So I've watched it on Shudder twice, and I'm fairly certain that there is a highly overpriced Blu-ray copy on Amazon.
Because I was going to say, like, if you're, like, degrading the film and doing all this, why would you want to see it on a Blu-ray disc? I want to see it on VHS.
I would love to see it on VHS. And so one of the folks that follows us on Twitter was actually one of the writers for this thing.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
I got into a conversation with him, and I was like, hey, are there any VHS copies left? He's like, absolutely not. They're all gone.
Ah, damn.
But, like, I almost want to buy a copy on Blu-ray and then record it onto VHS and watch it from there forever. You know?
I want to hear the tape spinning in the VCR while I watch this.
I want
with the random squeak every now and then.
Yes, I want the tape to get eaten.
I want to put burn holes in it. Make it look like Trent Reznor's video for Closer.
I want to not rewind it and give it back to Blockbuster because fuck you. That's why.
You have to find a Blockbuster first.
Touche.
So the first part of the film, this is a weird one to talk about. So we're just kind of, this is another thing where we're just kind of gonna rattle off our favorite parts because there's really no story to. Like there is, but anyway, the first 20 minutes of this thing is a local news broadcast with like two of the cheesiest anchors that you've ever seen, and the worst correspondents ever. And the dumbest stories ever with the dumbest commercials ever. It's great. The whole thing just works out perfect. And
the whole dentist part. I mean,
that was great.
It's like, yep, this is exactly what the news would do.
And in that 20 minutes or so, you don't know it, but you have been fed what's going to happen later on. We can't give too much away, but you've been fed what's going to happen later on in the main special. And the main special is about, I think it's probably about an hour long. With a ton of commercials in it. And the voiceover, you're listening to the WNUF Halloween special. Like, that's what... That's what the radio guy sounds like.
and the cheesy lightning effects are perfect.
Oh, it's perfect. So the story is, like I said, the story is much less than an hour, and the table gets set for what's going to happen at the end. So it's basically a short that's forced into a feature-length film that people from our generation can just easily appreciate through nostalgia. And I mentioned in my notes, and you said it before, that some things need to be viewed on VHS, and this is a perfect example. It's a film where there isn't a whole lot happening, but it still manages to suck you in on nostalgia alone. It's incredible. You go right from a local news report to an on-scene paranormal investigation broken up with commercials, and I still found it to just be fucking amazing. My favorite character in the whole thing is the priest. He was the best. I thought he was hilarious. He was like the priest. Oh, he was great.
You know what I loved about him? Can I say it with like the part where like he's like, do the exorcism.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just an actor.
Yeah, that's what.
Yep.
So in this like fictional reality, he's an actor, but whenever Frank the correspondent is talking, he's just like so stiff. He's holding a Bible like right underneath his chin, and he's just like looking around like he doesn't know what to do. It's fucking great. Oh God, I love this movie so much. I loved it. And I'm not going to give anything away with the end, but the end totally shocked me. And,
it was weird.
And the found footage thing, I've said a million times on this show that I hate found footage. But I love this. I thought this was a bunch of guys taking the genre and turning it on its fucking head, which needs to happen. Everything else seems to be like cheap jump scares from like the Blair Witch or some shit. Like this was a really, really good, well thought out production, and they took the time to make it look cool, and I think that's awesome. So, hey Brett, what were some of your favorite parts?
My all-time favorite part of this movie is in the beginning when he is interviewing the live audience that's outside before he goes in. The people who created this movie could not have nabbed down a more rambunctious, idiotic crowd of people that would show up for a like PBS special on a horror film. Like they were just perfect, and Frank Stewart's responses and his dry, sarcastic, like, fuck you, I can't believe you're here responses, especially the guy where he's just like, where somebody died in this house, because he's got like the fucking vampire teeth in his mouth. I like rolled over laughing hysterically. I was just beside myself with hysterics at the, and also just the people themselves, the audiences themselves in general are my favorite, with the call-ins on the seances. Just classic.
That part is great, because if this was broadcast on my local channel, nobody would have watched it.
Nope.
Nobody would have watched this.
But everybody in that audience thought they were going to be stars. You know, the one girl is like, hi, mom. Hi, mom. Hi, yeah, like they're just like, they're starstruck. And I think it's great because Frank is like rolling his eyes because, you know, this correspondent's like, this is going to get me on prime time, baby. This is going to be it. This is my big break. And the classic, to me, my favorite quote is the seance with yes, caller, what would you like to ask the mediums? And it's like, Iron Maiden rules, White Lion sucks.
That's awesome.
I was like, yep, this is public access right here.
Because that's what it'd be. It's a bunch of, like, if I was in high school at the time, I would have been, like, probably just drunk with my friends.
Yep.
Like, yo, let's call in. And said something very similar to that. So, Bub, what was some of your favorite parts?
I'll tell you, I love the part where he's like, I'm just an actor. Like, that was, like, great. But that was definitely, like, I was with Brett on that one. I love when they zoom over to the vampire kid, and he's like, wait, this place is haunted? You know, like, that was like, my all-time favorite part.
My favorite part, I mentioned a lot of them, but there's a report in the beginning about a PTSD Vietnam vet that shoots an Asian kid on Halloween, mistaking him for the Viet Cong, and I was rolling on the floor when that came on. I thought that was so funny.
That was really funny. Actually, I forgot about that.
So what would, Brett, what would you rate this?
I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5 scars, which might seem a little bit low, but I kind of tried to dial down my love for this movie because I wasn't so much in love with the movie as I was the nostalgia, the commercials, the ambiance of everything. It might be a 4 if I wasn't trying to push myself back so hard, but in reality, the commercials, as much as I love them, they dragged on, and you'd give me 6 minutes of a story, and I'd get another 5 minutes of commercials, which is reality. They nabbed it to a T. But and as much as it turned the whole ending turned everything on its head, I didn't particularly like it. I didn't particularly care for it. It didn't feel like a great ending. It kind of shook me up from what I felt for the movie. So I give it a really solid 3.5. It's borderline 4.
Bub?
I'm at a 2.5. You know what? I really liked it because it was different, you know? But it was hard to stay with it, you know, with all the commercials, like he was saying. You know? Even with commercials like Stay Sure tampons, you know?
The tampon commercials, I forgot about those.
Like, I would be concentrating on something, and I don't have a long, like, you know, attention span, and they would break to a commercial, and I'd be like, whoa, what are we doing? You know?
I appreciated the commercials. I did like them. I also appreciated what was going to come on later for, like, the shows that they had, those stupid shows that looked like, I remember, yeah, we had VHS tapes of stuff like my dad recording like a movie or something, and then it running through the commercials, and you would just see an ad for, like, maybe the dumbest show. I can't even remember them off the top of my head because I just try to erase them from my mind. But that's exactly what I thought of, like, when I was seeing some of their stupid sci-fi shows and whatnot. So
like the Knight Rider clones and stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff like that. So I gave it a 3.5, and it's a hard 3.5. I'm interested in any if this is a directorial team that's going to continue to release stuff. I'm interested in anything that they're going to do.
I agree.
And if you've been listening to this show for a while, a 3.5 is a pretty good rating. And I just thought it was a you know, like I said, it's a staple now. It was a wonderful film. It was a wonderful effort, and I can't wait to see what these guys put together again. So
I agree. What a great start to their career, because it didn't gain a lot of acclaim, obviously, because most of us have never heard of this film, but God, I was like, yeah, I thought the same thing. I want to see where these guys take their careers. If I hear that they're attached to something, I'm gonna watch it.
And next year Halloween's gonna come around, you'll be like, you know what? It's about that time. I should probably put on this. Put this on. You know?
Yeah.
So, and I thought it I knew I wanted to cover this for the month, and I think covering it in the last episode of our Halloween countdown was the right thing to do, because that's where it belongs, you know?
Oh, yeah. You know who I was thinking of a lot when I was watching this movie? Back in Jersey, like Uncle Floyd. Remember the Uncle Floyd show?
I remember the Uncle Floyd show, yeah.
Totally reminded me of that. Like, you know, like all that public access stuff.
I kind of want to be on public access. I just kind of want to do it. And just be totally weird and, like, basically be a host for, like, public domain movies. Like, whatever.
You'd be great at it, though. You'd be real good at it.
I think it would be fun. And I would just be as awkward as I am in real life. I wouldn't ham it up or anything. I would just be, that got weird, huh? Like, because I could never do it as funny as Joe Bob Briggs. But I could definitely just be a spectacle in and of itself. You know? So, all right, well, we are going to take a quick break to listen to what the Bride of Bloodbath has to say. And I didn't mention this earlier in the show like I normally do, but the music for this episode and all episodes has been provided by the Slasher Film Festival Strategy and Nightbirds. So go check out their stuff if you haven't already. And if you haven't, you're an idiot and you should get over yourself. How do you feel now? We'll be back with Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray.
You are listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray. We are dedicated to bringing you the show across your favorite medium. We can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. Please send all suggestions to bloodgutsandbluray@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.
Shout Factory TV, changing the channel.
You don't really know much about Halloween. Halloween, the barriers will be down between the real and the unreal. And the dead might be looking in. The last great one took place 3,000 years ago when the hills ran red. Halloween, the children.
You happen to know anything about this Cochran?
All I can tell you, mister, is watch out. He's watching you, friend, I guarantee you that.
Trick or treat. Hey, Mr. Cochran, just what is the final process?
Fellas, I was just kidding.
Witchcraft. To us, it was a way of controlling our environment.
Hey!
Where are they taking her?
They're taking her to the factory.
I want a mask. Can I have a mask?
Just what I had in mind for you, little buddy. Why, Cochran? Why? Do I need a reason?
I've got nothing here to indicate there was ever a body at all.
Operator, this is an emergency.
I do love a good joke, and this is the best ever. A joke on the children. I'm glad you'll be able to watch it.
You've got to believe me.
They're going to kill us. All of us.
Stop it!
The world's going to change tonight, Doctor. Happy Halloween.
Stop it!
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, the night no one comes home.
Season of the Witch.
And we're back. And we're going to talk about maybe one of the most underrated, in my opinion, one of the most underrated horror films to ever come out, which is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, better known to audience as... Wait a minute, where's Michael Myers? It was released in 1982. It was directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, who you may know as the director of the It television series. There's a body count of 9. There is no nudity. It was made on a budget of $2.5 million. It grossed $14.4 million. Brett, go Brett, go.
All right, so obviously Bloodbath coined it perfectly. There's no Mike Myers in this story, so it actually focuses more around a emergency room doctor, Dr. Dan, and the daughter of a random victim, Ellie. And through a random series of events, they end up investigating the Silver Shamrock Mask Factory, which creates the most sought-after mask for all the kiddies for Halloween, and discovers a sinister plot brought on by the ever so frightening Irish that leads to I'm glad somebody knows my sarcasm, and the which leads to mind control, witchcraft, and ironically enough, Stonehenge.
Yeah, definitely. It's the druid thing, you know.
Yep.
They don't talk about that on St. Patrick's Day. I'm actually a fan of Halloween 3. I remember seeing it when I was my freshman year of high school, and I did what everybody else did. At first, I'm like, wait a minute, Michael Myers isn't in this? Great. But after watching it, I appreciated it for what it was. If nothing else, the soundtrack to this film is fucking cool.
Oh yeah.
And it starts out a lot like the first two. There's like an action suspense sequence followed by some character development. And in that first action suspense sequence, a guy in a suit destroys another guy's face, which just kind of is a prelude to how brutal some of the deaths are in this film. They're not super violent, but then they're super twisted.
There's a lot of eye gouging.
A lot of eye gouging. Tons of it.
Sure is.
I mean, I have a lot of love for this movie. Tom Atkins is great. He's the godfather, like not the godfather of the genre, but he's definitely an important staple. Between this and Creepshow, and he was in Maniac Cop and things like that. So he's just a great guy to have in movies like this. He's a good actor. I like him. But on the negative side, there's a lot of overacting. It's glaringly apparent, and it's one of the hardest parts for a viewer to overcome. It would have been a better movie if it had taken place in Haddonfield. If they're gonna name it Halloween, make it take place in Haddonfield, right? Or just don't name it Halloween. Just name it Season of the Witch, and it would have been just fine. And because it feels like it takes place somewhere in California to me.
Yeah, like San Francisco.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's called, and maybe that's because the setting is Santa Mira, and it just immediately makes me think of like the West Coast. But it's like this. It's like it was borrowed from Children of the Corn, you know. And it turned out to be actually it was the setting of Invasion of the Body Snatchers almost 25 years before. So it's pretty wild. Any words?
I liked it. I liked this movie. You know what? When I was younger, I hated it. You know, because I guess because I was too young. Like you said, like there's no Michael Myers in it, so I was like, oh, forget this movie. You know, but I think if this movie was like a standalone horror movie and had no association with the Halloween series, it's a solid movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's why it goes underrated. It's the one that everybody knows it as the one that doesn't have Michael Myers in it. And
yep.
And that's and that's what's kind of a drag about it. But if you just take it for what it is, you know, there's a lot of build up before anything really cool happens, and then there's a lot of you know, it's a good story. It's a solid story. The first kills in Santa Mira are pretty cool too. The lady's face gets mangled by a mask, and the special effects in that are fucking sick. And then like right after that, a homeless guy's head gets just twisted off his body. It's amazing. Brett, what's your opinion?
Well, I'm gonna take nostalgia out and say, you know, because the whole Mike Myers thing not being there, I was totally fine with. And yes, when she gets zapped by the misfire on the Silver Shamrock masks, that part is fucking awesome. I love it. Like you said, the makeup and the special effects of that were fantastic. But I'm definitely going to have to disagree with the board on this one. I found the acting was just hammy. It was just over the top. Tom Atkins is great, but this movie, he really just, it felt like it was like, oh, well, you know, I'm gonna be a Dr. Burt Reynolds, and the story, I mean, my God, I mean,
you say,
robots.
Come on, wait, hold on. You don't think that Conal Cochran was creepy, especially when he's going through his monologue when he's like, Halloween 3,000 years ago, the hills ran red with blood. And he starts talking. He goes into the whole druid witchcraft thing. I thought it was fucking insane. And that's
he's an old Irishman that owns a fucking mask making company that built random robots and uses pieces from Stonehenge to kill children and have random bugs come from their throats out of nowhere. No, I did not find him frightening.
Hey, there were snakes too. There were fucking snakes.
That's right, there were snakes. I'm sorry, I forgot. There could be fucking unicorns blasting from that snotty ass kid's mouth, and I don't give a shit. His fucking bike got broken. I'm glad. No, I did not. I'm sorry, I did not enjoy this.
You know what, Brett? Someday you're gonna be an old Irishman, and and you should wear a mask.
I should wear a mask now when I'm young. Okay, so we don't even need to go on that fucking route there, Bloodbath.
Yeah, because you're ugly on the inside, okay? Because you don't
okay,
like
listen. Okay, listen here, buddy. I'm obviously striking a chord inside of you that you don't like, which means I'm onto something. This movie is not fucking good. I don't care if Michael Myers or every other fucking horror cast you could think of is not in this movie. It's not a good movie. I was like, really? Stonehenge? I'm like, what is this? What is this? Fucking Spinal Tap? Like, let's be real here, kids.
You're lame.
This is the last episode. Halloween 3 ruined it.
I hate you guys.
The end. End of Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray.
Did any of you guys notice that the way that the TVs in the factory were arranged were made to look like Stonehenge? Because that is always jumped out.
That was cool. That was cool.
I
agree.
Brett, you thought that was fucking cool, huh?
Well, I'm not giving this movie a 0. It's got to have something. Yeah, I thought that was cool. So, okay, so the random arrangement of TVs is gonna make me like this movie?
No, it's thoughtful. Fuck.
Oh, my score's going lower now just because I'm making you mad.
Dude, and here's another thing too. Like I said, Tom Atkins obviously fucking awesome in this movie. Let's just talk about how awesome he is. There's a part where the Irish witches have him tied up in a room. They put the mask on him, and they're about to play the catchiest little ditty you've ever heard, and cause the mask to fire, and then of course snakes and bugs and all things are going to basically eat his face. He manages to bust the TV with one kick, and while tied up, pulls the mask off and throws it over the camera. How fucking great was that? It was. I'll tell you how great it was. It was fucking awesome. Awesome.
And who doesn't like Dr. Burt Reynolds? Come on.
Yeah. Who
Smokey and the Bandage.
I don't even know you. Here's one of the things I don't understand though, and so one of the supporting characters or group of supporting characters is the Kupfer family, which you find out midway through the film that he owns like a consignment store, and he sold the most masks in the nation, most Silver Shamrock masks. And so they've rewarded him by inviting him to the factory and having him, he gets a tour, and they give his kid a mask and all that good stuff. And then they bring him and his family into a test room, and they lure him in there and say, hey, we're gonna show you some new products. And he is like, oh, okay. And then they put the Silver Shamrock song on, which causes the mask to eat your kid's face, and it kills everybody in the room. His kid, him, his wife, all dead. Why would you kill your best salesman? That's the only thing I don't understand. Why wouldn't you kill your worst salesman? Why would you kill that guy? Well, kill the guy who's only sold 10 masks, not the guy who's...
And how did the wife even die? She just passed out, and then, she's dead. That song killed her.
She passed out, and of course she got bitten by a snake. You know, not everything needs to be spelled out for you, Brett. You need to hear and see the fucking snake bite in order to know that it happened. No, we know there's venomous snakes.
It's implied.
It's implied. There's no way out. She got bit by a snake. Get over yourself.
No, I refuse to.
I love that part.
God.
I love before they go in the room. I love he's like, I don't understand. They're not taking my shipment for next year. They won't let me place my order. Of course, they're going to kill you.
Still don't get why. Made a lot of nods to the first Halloween movie, obviously. Jamie Lee Curtis is the automated voice on the phone when Tom Atkins is trying to call out of town, like to get help. It's like the number you called is incorrect or whatever. She's also the voice on the PA system that tells everybody that their curfew and whatnot. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That they never listen to because everybody's out after 6 o'clock, but whatever.
The girl who plays Dr. Dan's ex-wife, Nancy Kyes, she's in the original Halloween. She's also in Assault on Precinct 13. And yeah, so and of course they show the film on television. Like Tom Atkins is sitting in a bar and he sees a commercial for the film. So I thought that was pretty cool. One of the things I love is the shot of the kids walking home on Halloween, where the sun is going down and you could just see their silhouettes. It's like it's kind of like it's almost like symbolism, like they're already dead, And I like that. I thought that was pretty cool. The movie to me feels like a very long Twilight Zone episode, which I think was the intention. At the end of the day, I think that's what they were trying to go for. And at the end, of course, poor Tom Atkins can't catch a break with the female robot at the end. Ellie, right? Ellie. But at the end, though, at the very end, he is so convincing on the phone when he's trying to get them to not run the commercial. So, I alluded to it before, but I didn't really explain it. Basically, what happens is anybody who gets a Silver Shamrock mask, they're supposed to tune in at a certain time and to the magic pumpkin, and the magic pumpkin just keeps blinking, and that's what triggers the masks to kill, basically. And I'm sure anybody who's listening to this has already seen it, so they get it, and they're like, oh my god, I can't believe you fucking forgot that. But
I like that voice.
What a bunch of fucking frauds these guys are.
fucking Napoleon Dynamite over here.
So Tom Atkins is like calling every station trying to get them to take it off. And the kids are, and station by station is not playing it. They're putting up a banner that says like, please stand by, technical difficulties, whatever. But one station keeps it, and you just see like the kids changing the channels to get to the one that actually works, and they're all wearing their masks, and he's just screaming into the phone. He's like, turn it off, turn it off. So fucking good. He's so fucking good, dude. I love that guy. I want to meet that guy so bad. Brett, you don't have any favorite fucking parts in this movie, so Bub, what were some of your favorite parts?
I was gonna say,
bullshit.
I love the beginning. I love the beginning where that guy's running and he pulls the boot from underneath the car's tire, and it just crushes the man in the suit in between it, and you're like, oh shit. But I also love that. I feel for that guy at the gas station, that black dude at the gas station. The whole time he's like, what the fuck are these people doing? You know, like,
oh yeah,
don't you feel like that?
Yeah.
Like the first guy runs in there, he's like, it's happening. And then later on, like Tom Atkins is there, and at the end, he's like, it's the third channel, it's still on. And like this black guy's just like, get the fuck out of here. Like,
why do these crazy people keep coming here in the middle of the night?
He's like, I'm just trying to work my second job and provide for my family.
My boss is gonna kill me with this phone bill.
Right.
Brett, what was your favorite parts, if you can find one?
I actually can. And you already mentioned it, so we're not going to rehash it. The ending was great. Tom Atkins' performance at the end, and just the sheer terror and fear that his kids and all the kids in the world basically are going to be taken over by this witchcraft. I loved his performance. The ending actually left a good taste in my mouth as opposed to the entire movie. So yeah, and of course, Ellie being swapped out to be the robot, which I believe, if you guys can clarify that, I believe she was swapped out. I don't think she was a robot the entire time, or do you guys think she was a robot the entire time?
You know, when I watched this a few months ago, I actually wrote that down. Was she a robot the entire time? And that's a really good question, because I honestly don't know the answer to that.
Well, if I can kind of conspiracy corner a little bit, I'm gonna say conspiracy crawl space.
Get your tinfoil hats ready. It's time to cozy up in Brett's conspiracy crawl space on Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray.
One of the things that intrigued me is how fucking dumb the whole Silver Shamrock team seemed to be. With, first of all, they reveal the dad's car, just like, oh, hey, here's Dad's car. Whoopsie, we got a garage closing slowly. And, oh, hey, welcome to this hotel where we monitor everything daily. And let's let this new guy who just showed up into this town out of nowhere, who obviously has no store and has never put an order in, let's let him walk around the streets at night and give alcohol to bums. I felt like I was like, there's something weird about how they're so good at what they do and horrendous when it comes to Dr. Dan. Like, Dr. Dan, he's not even a fucking detective. He's a fucking ER doctor. Like, how is he outsmarting these guys? So it kind of leads me along the path that she was a robot the entire time, and she was the kind of the control point for this guy who caught wind of it from the outside. So that's kind of my conspiracy crawl space, because I'm kind of leaning more towards the fact that she was a robot the whole entire time.
I can buy that. Because I don't know. If somebody can give me good proof that she isn't, then I'll accept that. But I'm leaning more in your direction. But the only thing is, none of the other robots talked at all. Unless
I feel like they had a couple lines, but nothing much.
Maybe they did. I just don't remember it. Nothing. They didn't have any memorable lines. They didn't ask for like their gloves, their boots, and their motorcycle or anything. You know.
I'm sorry, I can't do that, Hal.
Right. It's not like in the first Alien movie, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, the bishops, yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe they did. But if they did, it was like one-word answers and stuff. It wasn't anything like complex. You know, they weren't. It was like they weren't. They're only programmed to really do one thing, and that was, well, two things: kill a target and then light themselves on fire.
Yep.
So I guess that's the argument against her being a robot, but that's really the only argument. So, I don't know.
She spoke to him after he saved her, though. Because he took her out and she said stuff in the middle of that factory while he was taking it down. Like, she was a part of that entire scheme. So, she could have been a robot the entire time.
Could have been. It's possible.
She could have been the best robot.
Then he fucked a robot then, didn't he?
Well, that robot also let him destroy the fucking factory.
True. True.
And he did fuck a robot.
All right.
Robot fucker.
Robot fucker.
She was a pretty attractive fucking robot.
Let's
be real here.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right, Brett. Well, the moment you've been waiting for. What do you rate this?
I gave it a 1.5. I won't rehash the negatives because apparently it'll make you go into a fucking tailspin. But it's not a good movie. Tom Atkins does a great job. The other chick getting her fucking face ripped apart was great. The story makes no fucking sense, and the ending was fun. I really like the cliffhanger, but for the most part, it's dull. It's boring. It's not scary. The gore is stupid. I mean, it's like they're spitting out fucking baby food out of their mouths because they're robots, and
it's orange juice. It's orange juice.
Okay, whatever, same shit. So, and by the way, all the robots are built from watch components, and yeah, so nah, 1.5.
Bub.
I gave it a 7 because I was originally gonna give it a 3.5, but I had a 3.5 on to even Brett score out to an even 5.
I love it when you guys stand by me. This is great. It's awesome.
Take that, robot fucker.
I give it a 2.5. Solid movie. Stands on its own. Yeah, 2.5.
Really? You give me that much fresh shit on my plate right now, and you're only 1 point over me?
I'll tell you why. Because you're like, oh, it's fucking terrible. First off, you made it sound like you were about to give it a 1 or less. For that, because the way you were talking about it, that's what I thought you were gonna rate it.
You literally said, you're like, hey, Brett, what's your take on the story? And I'm just like, oh, God, the story's fucking ridiculous. But I said that there were some really great parts to the movie.
You were so passionate about it being so bad, and you ended up giving it a 1.5. And as you know, I think a 2.5 is a solid movie. It's a solid watch. I've said that a bunch of times. It's not, it's got a ton of flaws to it, but I still can appreciate it for what it is. I love the story. I love the concept and the idea of it. Its main hang-up is that Michael Myers isn't in it, and it's called Halloween 3. But
well, you know what? Maybe I just threw you a little curveball. That's all. It's a 1.5. Look, trust me. The movies that I've given 1, which I think the only movie I've ever given a 1 or below was that stupid fucking beach movie we watched.
Troll Hunter was another one too, right?
Well, no, I didn't get to rate Troll Hunter because I told you I fell the fuck asleep while I was watching it. But yeah, I mean, 1.5 is not a great score, but it had its redeemable qualities without a doubt, and I agree with you on that. And I take the whole Mike Myers thing out of that. That does not count towards my score. But I thoroughly unenjoyed the movie, but I recognize that there is some good there. But that's like Darth Vader good. Like, he still needs to die good.
I still think 1.5 is too harsh. But that's your opinion. You can rate whatever you want. You host the show too. So.
You know what? We agreed to disagree.
Yeah. And I agree to only talk to you on days that we record this. So.
Well, that just broke my little heart. How are the Mets doing, Brian?
You know what? You are crossing a fucking line that you cannot uncross, my friend. Yeah, at least I don't look like Doogie Howser.
Oh. Oh, man. Well, you know what? Joke's on you, because women wanted him, but they couldn't have him because he's gay. That's a joke on me. I was making a joke on me.
Oh, good. So your last word is a joke about yourself. Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray. So much fun. Guys, thanks for tuning in to our final part of our Halloween countdown. It's been a ton of fun. And, I love this time of year, and I'm really glad that I got to spend the last part of it in my home state, where I learned to love this holiday so much, and I learned to love horror movies so much. But that doesn't mean because Halloween's over that the horror movies stop. Hell no. We have so much more to go, and with the holiday season coming up, we have some holiday themed horror movies that we're going to talk about. We have some we just have ones that we like. We have ones that we hate, or at least Brett hates. And we just want to thank everybody. We've been getting a ton of support lately from obviously our amazing network, but also from friends, and we're making new friends along the way, and we appreciate everybody listening to this. We hope you guys all have a very safe and happy Halloween. Don't get into too much trouble on Mischief Night. Stay the fuck away from my car. Toodaloo.
Guys and gals, have a great Halloween. Good evening.
Adios.
Thank you for listening to Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray. Written and hosted by Bloodbath, Bub, and Brett667. Edited and produced by Bloodbath. Music has been graciously provided by the Slasher Film Festival Strategy and Nightbirds. Artwork and logo have been provided by Bub. Blood, Guts, and Blu-ray is available on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, as well as @BloodGutsBluray on Twitter, @BloodGutsandBluray on Instagram, and visit our Tumblr page by going to bloodgutsandbluray.tumblr.com. For any questions regarding the show, advertising, or anything else, please send an email to bloodgutsandbluray@gmail.com. Thanks again. Get possessed.